The light discussion, that is. You put me on radio again.
Good morning.
Jamster, I'm going to get you, you know. Jamster, I am going to get you.
It's 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. Time for Island Tea. And I'm here with Kortensia. Carty, what's up? What's on your mind?
I'm good. Well, we're going to start with the light-hearted discussion before I have to beat you up this morning. Yes, folks, good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and the diaspora. And I see Jams as well. He was busy getting himself together. So, Jamster, thank you so much for all that you do for us here at Island Tea. So, we're going to start the morning off on a light note and for the gentleman. So, here goes.
That he loves my mom more than he loves me. And I was like, oh, completely unprompted. I was like, okay, thanks. Okay, cool. And then he was like, well, you know, because your mom gave me you, so of course I love her more. And I was like, oh, I guess that's kind of sweet. And then I thought about it, and I was like, Mom does not feel that way about you.
I would stand to argue that most men that are in healthy relationships that love their wives absolutely would say the same thing. They love their wives more than their children. And what I think about that is that that's how it should be. But what's really kind of messed up is the last thing that she says. And a lot of women are agreeing in the comments. Women are saying that they 100% love their children more than their husbands. This is just another example of how children and women are loved unconditionally, yet men are loved only with conditions.
My dad once told me.
Yes, I've been saying this. I have been saying
That are listening to us this morning. Is this really true?
It is true.
So,
This is something I've observed from afar. Well, yeah, afar in that it's not my relationship, but
okay.
You know.
But can it not be compartmentalized where you love your husband and you love your kids, but you have to love your husband more because your husband is the reason why you have the kids, because you can't make the kids.
That might be too logical for women.
You're going to get yourself beat up this morning. You better walk with a mask over your face. But no, in all fairness, if we didn't have the husband, we couldn't have the kids. So I just think that the kids should never come before the husband. They may come before the husband in certain situations, like if they're sick, and the husband should understand, but the husband and the wife were there first before the children.
But what I find interesting is some of the comments.
Yes.
I think the comments are gold. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so folks, if you're just joining us, the upshot of what we just played is basically that this lady is saying that women love their kids more than their husbands, whereas with men, men maybe love them about the same. I think I'm going to edit that to say that men love their wives as much as their kids. But I've seen it many times where it seems like, yeah, for real, the women.
So after your wife gave you your first child, Jam, so I'm going to use you because you're right here. How did you feel about her?
Boy, that was an all-consuming, warm feeling. I could tell you. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, it was.
The mere fact that she went through all of that, body changes, and then this little human came out. But I don't understand why she wants to be loved more than her mom.
So I'm trying to find some of the comments. Okay. Those are two loves that can't be compared because the depth of both should be infinite.
Infinite, exactly. And somebody say, I hate it when people treat love like a rating system. And my mom always said to me, once you become a mother, you will always be a mother. You will not always be a wife. So you must take care of both relationships.
I was just about to read that one. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
You have to because at the end of the day, let's say in the US, by 18, the parents are trying to ship these kids off, or 16. So when they become empty nesters, what's going to happen? Who are you in a relationship with, your child or your partner, your husband?
This other one says, the love I have for my husband and the love I have for my children are incomparable. They are two different things, like food and water. I will struggle without both. I kind of get that one because I could say, well, you can probably live like some animals who don't actually directly drink water, just get all their water from. So technically you could you can live on food, but you still wouldn't be complete if you drank
so
water,
if you
right?
don't-
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Because you need some kind of water. There's
Yeah.
another one that says,
Yeah.
yes, men love and protect their wives so that their wives can love and protect their children. My dad always said the same. I've never doubted his love for me and my sisters, but I understand that he needed to love and prioritize my mother first so that she could give the best of her. And this is what I think men don't understand. Yes, I'm going to say it out loud. Because if you love your wife the way she wants to be loved or needs to be loved, then everything you get will be golden.
But I also think there's something to be said for that whole thing about the two types of love being different. So I see no reason why the two types of love can't even compete or even coexist.
Because I want to know why we want to
coexist.
compete. Because
not compete, coexist.
compete brings what do we say? Resentment.
Yeah.
Because if you have to compete and your husband's paying more attention to the children than he is paying to you that gave him the children in the first place, then I would like to think most women will feel a type of way.
But listen to this one. Pretty sure women have been conditioned to love their children more than their husbands their entire lives. Otherwise, we're labeled as horrible mothers who choose men over their children. So whether it's true or not, we will say our children come first.
It depends because not all mothers do that. We know some relationships warrant where that's why I think moms with children should let the fellas know up front, I have children. I may not be as free as you may want me to be, but it'll be my children, and then I can work with you. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T.
Yes, good morning. I'm wondering if this is not learned behavior. You know, they have this way of saying 100 people died, including 50 women and children, as if to say that, well, the men don't matter so much, okay? In a disaster, you always try to save the women and children, okay? Again, it's like the men are pretty much dispensable. So that may be what is causing this, right? You would think that regardless of the sex or the age, it's a matter of common humanity, right? Everybody, I would think, has some kind of human right,
Yes.
some kind of existence that should be recognized. And it shouldn't matter the sex, but the fact is, it does, right? And we're conditioned to feel that women and children are the ones that matter most.
Well, actually,
maybe it's also a survival instinct thing in that the children are the future, and the women are the only ones who can produce children. Okay.
But don't you think
it may be a biological thing as well as the learned behavior thing I talked about.
But don't you think it's more a matter of not necessarily that you're saying that the men are not as important. It's like you're saying, how dare you mistreat women and children? On top of, it's bad enough that you kill
because they're the weaker of the sexes.
Yes, exactly. So I don't.
Sorta.
Yeah.
Because they don't want
You're
them
thinking because they're weaker? No, but then why? So are aged men are the weaker?
Huh?
Aged men are weaker also. But you don't think. That's what I'm saying. You don't think of it in terms of the human condition. You think of it in terms of the women being able to produce children and the children being the future. Right?
Yeah.
Not in terms of who's weaker or can't fend for themselves.
Okay.
Right?
Because when they're saved, in disasters and other situations, it's normally because of that. Because in war, you want to get the women out first, the children out first, because you know what will happen if the wicked men get to them.
The wicked men.
Yeah. The wicked ones.
Well,
because
how else can you
Mr.
describe
McMahon,
your combatants,
Exactly.
Mr. McMahon?
Wicked men.
No. the thing is no, there's no such thing. You don't differentiate that no, because especially now that you have so many women leaders. I mean, they can kill with they can kill just as much as men can.
They sure
Okay?
can, but they'll
and
think
have no
twice.
hesitation about it.
They'll think
Right?
twice.
So, and that is why I'm saying that it should be a level playing field across the board.
Yes.
That when people are dying, when people are suffering, regardless of whether they're 90 years old or 2 years old, regardless of whether they are male or female, it is a condition that we should all take cognizance of and treat with some kind of equality.
Okay.
These are living people, humans,
Yes.
right?
Understood.
Okay, and the age and sex, I don't think should come into play, but it does. I mean, the reality is that it does, and the question is that conditional? Something we are taught and therefore accept as God-given concept, or is it that it's just a basic survival instinct? I mean, do you see in the animal kingdom, to take it to the primordial level, for instance, do you see the male lion protecting the female and the cubs as much as it would protect its fellow male lion?
Well, it protects the female and the cubs. I have never even noticed
Yeah,
it
but
protecting its counterpart.
Well, it's more. It works the
I
other
mean,
way
the
around.
male counterpart.
The male is supposed to protect the
The female and the kids.
female and the thing.
From danger.
At the biological level, or if it so happens that the female is stronger, they're supposed to be the protective one.
Well, she would.
But why are you wasting time talking about the outlier scenarios? I mean, come on.
How you mean? What do you mean?
How many instances where the women will be stronger than the man? Come on, let's be real now.
Well, women would can argue differently now, to be quite honest. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many women leaders do you know and have had no compunction going, for instance, into war? I mean, you know them, okay? How many leaders women leaders who are just as iron-fisted as their male counterpart? They do exist. And I'm saying that whereas there's been a cultural shift in the idea that, well, men are pretty much, women are pretty much men's equal in terms of their leadership. They may not be physically so, but certainly in terms of the power they wield, and that's what's important, they are men's equals.
I agree.
And so you can't continue to treat them as if they're the weaker sex.
Yeah, but I think if you don't have that somewhere in the back of your head, you're going to run into trouble. Because do you really want a bunch of women out on a battlefield lifting full-grown men, laden down with body armor and all that stuff, trying to maybe
But that's not how war is now. That's what I'm saying. There's been a shift, right? What is the difference between a man or a woman being at the controls, let's say somewhere in Colorado, at the controls of a drone that bombs a village or in Afghanistan or anywhere else in the world?
That's different. But
that does not require physical strength.
Yeah, that's different. But if we get back to you get back to war's primitive beginnings, we have to be. You realize you have to be brutally practical about who is most likely to kill a bunch of combatants, right? And it's
Right.
it wasn't going to be a woman. And I mean,
Right.
who's going to take care of the kids, right?
Right.
So,
Now shift to today. Is that the same scenario, though?
yes and no.
Totally different.
I would say yes and no.
But even now, we still hardly see
Do you know-
women on the front lines
Yeah.
of war,
Do you know Ukraine?
although they're soldiers.
Ukraine just they just modified their laws concerning some of their defense laws, and what I found interesting, I didn't get to read the story, but what I found interesting was that in the headline they said they had made no change concerning conscripting women. So I thought it was interesting that they used that as part of the headline. I'm gonna have to go back and read that story, because I guess probably Ukrainians were speculating that Zelensky would conscript women, but he didn't. So he made some other changes, but he didn't.
Yeah,
Good
it's
guy,
still a controversial. That would still be a controversial move. But the fact is, like so many other things, the pendulum has moved, and we certainly can't think. We can't eat our cake and still have it. Okay, you can't say on one hand that we are supposed to protect the weaker elements in society, and then when in fact it turns out that they are not the weaker elements in society, they are still afforded that protection.
Yeah, but why are you overthinking it, assuming that that's going to happen to any significant degree? Shouldn't you be practical and do? Shouldn't you be practical and just go ahead and do what the empiricals provided by history have shown, for the most part, and deal with it that way? And then when you have a situation where things deviate significantly from the usual, then you deal with that. I mean, why? I mean, if you have 100 men,
But hasn't things deviated from the usual already? That's the point. Yeah. Don't you think things have deviated significantly from the usual?
In what sense specifically?
Well, to use the comparisons we've been making, certainly war is different. War is totally different now. Okay, and so.
You think the Ukrainian...
A woman piloting an F-16 or Raptor or whatever they call them now, the fighter jets, can inflict as much damage as the male counterpart.
I agree.
Right. So it has shifted considerably, right? And therefore, shouldn't the same accountability measures, rules of engagement, whatever you want to call them, apply to both men and women pilots?
Well, with pilots, but I feel like women don't belong on the front line, though.
No.
I don't.
Front line, you mean
I
in
don't
the
mind.
trenches, on the ground?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
But you do realize that
I don't even think women
there
belong on
are
submarines, which they just
women
changed that.
in
Yeah.
combat, and there are women who can defeat men who are on the front lines on the ground in combat as well.
Yeah, but I still don't
It may
agree
not be
with it.
the majority,
Still don't
but
agree with it, though.
but it does happen.
It does happen, but it's royal.
Right? But going back to your original
Yeah.
thing, I guess that explains why there seems to be a difference in how women and children are viewed or loved or treated vis-a-vis men. Men
Yeah.
always get the bad end of the stick.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I apologize on behalf of all of the women this morning.
There's the other story I wanted to touch on, which I found funny. You guys realize I was cracking up when I shared it. About the teacher in the States who was having an affair with her student. And the father of the kid knew, and the father didn't report it, so the father is in trouble as well. And the comments for that one are gold as well, because everyone is saying like there are all these memes in the thread about men saying where were all these women when I was in high school. Pretty funny, but
that would be funny, but of course, on a serious note, I mean the the relationship should not have existed in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of the,
Okay.
again, regardless of the sex and
Yeah.
the
Let me read
age
it briefly.
of the children.
It says,
By the way, you notice that big trial in The Hague right now, where South Africa is
oh, yeah.
you know, that's going to be interesting.
That's going to be
in fact, I
interesting.
have the article here that speaks to it. But Jamster, I guess before we get on to that, you want to continue the story that you were given?
No, yeah, I was just saying, I just wanted to read it briefly. It says, Missouri math teacher was arrested on 4 warrants of messing around with a 16-year-old student. The father of the teenager was also arrested for knowing about the relationship and not reporting it to the police. Stating that a 26-year-old teacher was messing around with a 16-year-old student minimizes the fact that the child was a victim of statutory rape. And there are a lot of comments who are saying they find it interesting that because it's a woman, they're saying messing around, where if it was a man, if it was the other way around, there'd be a lot more, the language would be a lot more, let's say, muscular,
But you realize, too, of course, that, again, historically, and in some cultures, it was acceptable for men to have what we would call underage girls, for instance, as their wives.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a cultural thing, and the opposite was never accepted. So that's not surprising one bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's only that our culture has evolved to the point where we have now inserted, and some may say call them artificial norms, so to speak, that don't allow that kind of thing. But it's all part of the evolution and development of
But here's the other
and culture and behavior.
Here's a comment that points to the other part of the, let's say, problem. The father must have been beaming with pride. LOL. And
Oh boy.
and then then there's one where it says Pops when he asked his son what he did at school that day, and they use a clip from Training Day with Denzel Washington, where he says, "My man."
Oh boy.
So
you wonder if you're covering the seriousness of it in terms of in humor, but you wonder what his mom thinks.
Oh, what makes it worse? She actually sent him pornographic photos as well and videos of herself.
Oh boy.
And asked him for naked photos as well.
So she's gonna be in trouble.
And even invited him to her home to have sex, according to a probable cause statement by the county sheriff's office. Yes, and apparently she used to go visit him at his house, and his dad knew, like I mentioned before.
Yeah, so dad's in trouble because dad.
You realize all of that though would be moot if the guy wasn't on the age, because what consenting adults do is pretty much accepted everywhere. It's only the fact that he's still considered a child that this becomes even remotely relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, So, but I wondered what his father and his mother may have two very different outlook of the thing. Huh?
Yeah, for
The
sure.
mother might think of it as, well, that teacher, that wicked woman robbing the cradle, and whereas the father might say, chip off the old block,
So Macmahon, really. Oh, you're on a roll this morning.
Okay, it's 8:33. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we have some other things we want to cover. So we're gonna do that when we come back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Dreaming of that perfect getaway? Hop aboard the Makana Ferry to the breathtaking islands of Saba, Statia, St. Martin, and St. Kitts. Embark on a delightful journey and enjoy sun-kissed beaches, vibrant cultures, and unforgettable experiences. Visit McConaferryService.com to book your island hopping adventure today.
As we welcome 2024, C&W Business is thankful for today and hopeful for tomorrow. Thank you for the opportunity to support your business. Together, let's make the Caribbean stronger, building smarter islands, more sustainable and innovative. We're committed to empowering you to make a greater impact. And as your technology partner, we're inspired to build greater solutions. Be more secure, be more certain, and believe in tomorrow with C&W Business.
We are back. It's
Yes.
8:34.
Well, good morning to everyone. I just want to say good morning to all those persons who have tuned in. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Thursday morning so far. If you look at the region, we look in St. Martin, and St. Martin, votes in its 2024 parliamentary election. And so based on this article, it says voting will start today in St. Martin for its 2024 parliamentary election at 20 polling stations across the Dutch Caribbean island. The polls open at 8 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. The total number of registered voters for January 11, 2024 election is 22,553. And here it says that police officers from the other Dutch Caribbean islands have arrived on the island to assist with maintaining peace and security during the parliamentary elections. So 8 political parties have offered up 129 candidates to vie for the 15 parliamentary seats. The members of parliament shall be elected by proportional representation. The political parties contesting, and here we have the National Alliance, the United St. Martin Party, the National Opportunity Wealth, the Empire Culture Empowerment Association, the United People Party, Party for Progress, United Resilient St. Martin Movement, and Democratic Party. So in 2020, a coalition government was formed following the results of that election with Sylvia Jacobs at the helm as Prime Minister. The election results are expected to be in by midnight. So St. Martin votes today for their parliamentary representatives. And currently the Prime Minister of St. Martin, the Dutch side, is female.
Yeah, I remember she kind of made the news during COVID in reference to kind of putting her foot down about, certain regulations that she had kind of set up and so on. Sylvia Jacobs. I think she may have, from what I was told, she may have Kittian roots. I don't know. I could be wrong. But anyway, yeah.
What is interesting is that it says the results are expected to be in by midnight.
Yes, that wasn't last week.
And hopefully, we will recognize here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we go down to the wee hours of the night. I remember doing the coverage last election on ZIZ, and we were there from 8 a.m., I think, around that time. And I could remember even coming on to 3 o'clock, we were still there. And at certain points in time, I was battling sleep, going on to 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I'm just there struggling, trying to keep up in terms of of staying awake. I can still remember that.
Poor baby.
Oh, boy.
Results coming in.
Oh, boy, no. And I look at this. There's a story that says, and it comes from Loop again, police force condemns damage to political signs. Why do we do that all around the world? And it's only certain ones. They spray painted the eyes. They did a lot of ones.
This is
St.
Martin
Martin, prior to the. So the police force said it has received reports of signs being spray painted, damaged, or destroyed. And you see where they spray painted people's eyes, their faces, their nose. It's like, what's wrong with us?
I remember the first thing that I thought when you were reading it, when you said that it's 15 seats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
And then
lot.
the population is 22 thousand.
But
Well,
the
the
registered voters.
the electorate, yeah.
Mhm.
But then when you said it's proportional, then that made sense. I was wondering. I said,
Yeah.
wow, 15. I was thinking, 15 parties
That's a lot.
contesting, and
Yeah.
such a small, In fact, the Dutch side is smaller than the French side, so
Yeah, the Frenchman walked more.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
the rum the wine
yeah.
worked.
Yeah, the wine and the cheese. Mhm.
Who said he had cheese? Maybe
And
it's
the-
just the wine for hydration.
And the
Or
escargot.
dehydration.
The escargot.
But he walked more.
What was the Dutch guy eating? Maybe he was wearing wooden shoes. I don't
Oh
know.
boy, clogging all the way down the road. Oh boy.
So for those persons, the proportional representation is the electoral system that seeks to create a representative body that reflects the overall distribution of the public support for each political party, where majority or a polarity system effectively rewards strong parties and penalizes weak ones by providing the representation of a whole constituency to a single candidate who may have received fewer than half of the votes cast. So it's not going to be like in our first past the post system, where it is that the winner takes all in the constituency, even if you win. Based on the representation, it's based on the number of persons who vote for a particular party. I don't know the semantics in terms of St. Martin, but generally speaking, that is how it is based on how much persons vote for a particular party. Could be the individual. I don't know what they have done to make their system unique to them. I'll have to look at it and perhaps at the results.
But you
this evening.
realize they have 10 political parties.
Yeah.
I counted 10.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean,
10,
they'll
that was
be able
15,
to. I
okay.
think they'll be able to better do that because of what the system that they're using, which is proportional representation, which is different to the first past the post system. So, I think it works for that with the number, because then it goes based on, you'll be voting based on it'll be the distribution of the votes and a whole. I don't know if they have made it specific to individuals. I really have to look at their system because I haven't looked at their system to
I
know
also
how
thought
they do it.
8 to 8 was interesting. Worth to mention because here's what 6 to 6, 6 to sometimes
Actually 9, y'all. 9. I
Oh, 9
counted
to 8.
9.
Oh,
No,
9
9
parties.
parties.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, but notice
And then it's 129 candidates.
129 candidates.
You could,
That's
but
a lot.
I think it's a lot. But I think we're looking at it based on what we know here in St. Kitts and Nevis, which is the first past the post system. They're doing a more proportional representation.
But
So
that's-
if you win in the constituent that you're representing, you mean you get a partner automatically? You mean the runner-up is you and the runner-up are now
I think they
buddies
get
for the
seats.
government?
I think I don't know how it works, but I'm assuming
I'll have to look at their system, but proportional representation usually goes to, for example, here as it says, it creates a system, a representative body that reflects the overall distribution of the public support of each party. For example, and I don't know if this is too St. Martin. So, for example, if you had two parties, and give you a very basic structure, if you had two parties and you have the country voting, and let's say 57% voted for, let me make it easier, let's say 75% voted for party A, and there may be 9 seats, then automatically you'll get 75% of the 9.
Overall.
Whichever number
Okay.
represents that 75%. That is a basic concept. I don't know. I will have to see how their
okay.
system tweaks that basic concept.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just usually the basic concept of it. But we'll look on and we'll see what the results are and how they have used that basic concept of they tweaked it to suit them.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
I also remember, some of these systems, these electoral systems are interesting. I remember after Montserrat, post volcano, and when they moved the capital to Braids, and they were having their first elections with they had like 2,500 people there at the time. And I don't remember exactly how it worked, but I think it's a similar kind of system. It was a very novel system, the way I remember it was explained, in terms of how they decided who, in terms of how the election would work. It was also very novel to suit the particular realities on the ground there. So I guess on the surface of it, it was some kind of proportional system as well, because I remember them saying something about one vote was worth like 11 votes or something like that, some kind of system like that, which I thought was kind of interesting. So
I mean, that system it's tweaked. I mean, the U.S. Use that system as well. But they have the electoral support and stuff like that. But they have modified it. You know how I mean. Other countries take the basic and modify. Yeah. And so you don't get individual constituencies, so to speak. Is whatever percentage of votes you get, that's the number of seats you will get. Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I'm assuming, I mean, they're part of the EU, and so I would imagine that maybe they probably even have electronic voting. That would not surprise me, because they're part of the Dutch kingdom. So I would not be surprised if they probably have. I heard Anguilla has electronic voting.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think Anguilla does a similar system in terms of proportional. I don't think they do it in terms of first past the post. I think it's more proportional.
Okay. Yeah. It's always interesting to be me. So what you want about Jamaica? The results are usually in by like 9
and they do
o'clock.
first past the post like us.
First past the post. But I mean, I was addressing the issue of
they do it very quick. Trust me.
Us taking a decade to count.
Trust
the
me.
votes,
Even the UE election. So Jamaica, I remember being at Mona, and we had elections for the Guild, which is a student body. But Mona has about 15,000 persons. Around that during the time I was there. I don't know if there's any change now. And they actually brought in persons from the election commission to actually count and be in charge of the votes. I thought when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is really intense, serious. And the votes were in at quick time.
They brought in professional, kind of similar to with Carnival, where they bring in actual accounting firms to do to count. Yeah,
I thought that was very different and unique, because in Caville elects their guild as well, which is a student body, but how Caville does it is that the students are trained, and I mean, of course, the students would be trained too, but it's one way where you have the electoral commission or whatever body assisting, and another way you have maybe the students themselves, just getting guidance on how to perfect their system and do it themselves and be in charge of their system.
That's interesting. They actually go for the electoral commission.
They did it for that time. I don't know if they continue to do it, but I could say maybe between 2009 when I was there, they did it that way. It was really interesting.
Do they have debates in Jamaica?
Yeah, you mean for the UE
student
body?
Political? Well, I imagine they would have for the student, but I meant like political.
The politicians.
I think they do it the same as much as we do it here.
I still think we need a debate here.
So they don't do debates then?
Not in the formal. I've never seen them do a formal debate like the US and stuff like that. They do more.
Are you in favor of debates?
I love debates. I think debates. Since I was in Youth Parliament, member of the National Youth Parliament Association, I have always favored debates, and I always thought that there should be debates because this is how how persons are going to contribute what they have done in the past and stuff like that. That's where you get the individual, and the individual is placed on the spot to answer. So there's no, you prepare for the debates. You prepare for the debates, but at the end of the day, questions can come from anyone.
Exactly.
And then you get to see that genuine answer. You get to hear that genuine answer, So
you even get to see if they fumble and fibble, and then liar, pants on fire.
And in fact, you talk about debates. Debates were first introduced, I think, in the US maybe in the 1900s during that point on television. I remember
the 50s.
The 50s. I actually 50s were in my mind when I said it.
But you said 1900s.
I said to be safe, because the 50s were. But I said, what happened if I'm wrong? I said the 1900s.
Listen,
That was
listen.
smart. That was
I
smart.
tell you, with his profession, nobody gonna catch him.
So yeah, I think it was around the 50s. So if you said the 50s and I was singing the 50s,
He makes
probably around
1900
the
songs
50s.
like 300 years ago, right?
And I remember persons saying when it was John F. Kennedy versus Nixon, and persons were saying that, those persons who listened the debate on the radio felt that majority of the persons felt that Nixon had won the debate.
Oh, nice.
But those persons who listened and viewed via television felt that JFK had won the debates. So it just shows you
What was the difference, though?
what the difference would have been, the facial reactions. Remember, we talked about the facial. So when you
being
talk,
able to see.
yes. So when you talk about the facial reactions, it showed me the importance of it, because they were able to see how the two candidates because if you're listening via radio, you're only hearing the voice.
Yes.
And so someone could speak confidently, but you're not seeing the facial expression.
Expressions, yes.
And so persons who did view via television, based on the studies that they did during that time, felt that JFK had dominated the debate based on the television, but on the radio, just hearing, not seeing the individuals at all, felt that Nixon would,
President Nixon.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing something like that on YouTube, and they were talking about how far we've come. Where, I mean, they were just starting out, and these guys were making all these weird facial expressions. One of them more than the other. So the people.
Oh, boy.
So now these guys have the poker face thing down. So I mean, you guys saw the debate last night?
No.
Which one was last night?
It was Nikki Haley and the Sanctimonious.
They started already. I know there's someone.
Santos
Christy,
can come for you.
I was watching a news story which said that Christy, I think he said that he fell.
He suspended. He suspended his campaign.
Yes, and they said that it was so he could so they could give Haley advantage.
Yeah. But they said something he said something yesterday which I thought was very powerful. He said if some of these other Republican candidates can't come out and denounce Donald Trump, it says a lot about you.
Yeah, I heard
and
that.
You probably shouldn't be running for president. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I
do not
actually
understand. And if America votes, why are we voting somebody who said they're going to assassinate people that protected a country that you can live in for free when you hid when it was your turn to go to war, Mr. Trump? This is crazy.
And Michelle Obama said, I think it was the day before yesterday, that let's face it, we know that if Donald Trump was black and had been accused of all those things,
jail,
loss. and he wouldn't been able to run.
Exactly, loss.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, and this is why we see that racism still exists in that great of a country, and on a high level too, at the highest level.
You guys want to take a call? Alan T, go right ahead.
Yes. Good morning.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, good morning.
I don't think you listen for the calls, man.
No, I was here, but I didn't want to cut off my co-host.
About Kennedy and Nixon. No, the Kennedys were regarded, I don't think, but they were regarded something like a royal family of United States, And Nixon was obscure, but Nixon was a far better debater than John F. Kennedy. But Nixon just was eloquent.
Okay.
He knew his onion, as we say in local parlance. But the Kennedy had a lot of things in favor of them, because, as I say, they came from a kind of bad background,
Yep.
Bootlegging and all of that.
They were whiskey. They were
whiskey and all of that.
whiskey. They made their money from whiskey during Prohibition.
From Ireland.
And
they say that was some of the things that happened to them, the sins on them. But when people like you, they like you. And I believe that will happen.
Yes.
So the Kennedys seem to go on into obscurity. And now, you see what happened? People like Donald Trump. Don't care what happened. People like you, they like you. The other man in Argentina named Perón, same thing like that. He was a dictator up to a point. So that's how we go when people like you. When people like you, no matter what, they're coming for you. They're going to be supporting you. So I just thought that like that. I could say something about what you said in the audio, but let me not go there. Another time.
Yes.
I'll go there again.
Thank you
You
so
too.
much.
And I've heard, I read an essay one time about Nixon and that whole dynamic between him and Kennedy, and they said that Nixon always had a chip on his shoulder because he came from humbler background.
Yeah.
He come from a humbler background than Kennedy, so he always kind of had a chip on his shoulder about and a certain amount of resentment to the establishment, like the Kennedys and certain other people around that period.
So did he win? He won the
think he
Kennedy
won.
guy?
No,
I think he won his
Kennedy
second
won.
time. He won.
Oh, so Kennedy
won.
beat
Kennedy
him.
won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in 1960.
Okay.
And then he won.
Kennedy was assassinated.
Yeah, boy, he didn't enjoy
and
that
so,
time at all.
Yeah. Nixon
then
eventually.
eventually.
got it.
Well,
Yeah.
as the colleges said, because of how they made their money, they had curses pronounced on them that they were gonna.
There's a whole
Yeah, I
conspiracy
always wonder
movement
about that,
behind
yeah.
that. There's so many.
Yeah, because
discussion
even his
behind
son,
that. Yeah,
gorgeous
so-
looking son, and his wife just died.
Yeah, and then his brother Robert assassinated.
Yeah,
during-
and Robert's son now, the crackpot, running for president as an independent, who says autism, all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah,
Jamsa has me afraid here.
Yeah, afraid what?
But
he's running as an independent.
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
neither party would have him.
maybe he doesn't want to be part of any party. The name Kennedy alone stands out. I am a Kennedy.
Well, he was running as a Democrat first, but then I guess
He just want to do his own thing.
No, I think they kind of made it.
You
known
really think they
that
throw him out?
No, not they throw him out, but they let it known that we're not gonna stand for you.
We don't
You
want
know,
your curses
challenging
here.
Mr. Biden.
I mean, I think this election in the United States is going to be significant, but I think they want to look for really going to be interesting is going to be the 2028 one, because there are going to be a lot of new
Candidates?
faces, coming around. Because
Yeah.
this one here, it'll be if things go as it looks
Should.
like. Well, I'm not even saying should. I'm saying how it looks. It looks like Biden and
Don't say
Trump
it.
again. It looks
Yeah.
that way. It looks that
But
way.
I was wondering if they have anybody else to run for the Democratic. Not that I don't like Mr. Biden, but I think poor Mr. Biden need a break. His dream came through.
But
He
they had
got
a-
to be president. But to me, like, Mr.
they had
Biden
a
need a
debate.
break because I don't like how they abuse him
They had a little-
in the media, especially when he falls.
There was a little covered debate this week, early in the week, with the Democratic upstarts who were challenging Mr. Biden.
You call him
Miss-
upstart?
Well, I mean, the guy Dean Phillips, the congressman, and Miss Williamson. What's her first name? With an M, Matthew? Something. Marianne Williamson, I think her name is.
Okay.
She actually ran the last time too, as a Democrat.
I think if all goes as it looks and there's no issue in terms of his health, in terms of, well, publicly that is, because we don't know what he's
Dealing
privately.
with behind doors.
Yeah, publicly and nothing comes out. I assume that he will be the one.
Who?
And
Trump?
Biden. And then
Yeah, I kind of.
if the polls are looking as they're looking going down, and we still have a number of caucuses to be had, they're going to be, it's going to be very interesting. I see Rusty here say you might be incorrect. The presidential candidates will be Harris and Haley. And persons have been saying that. That's why I'm saying, if
What?
not, if that's Rusty saying. So,
Meaning this year?
yeah, but I was thinking maybe that's a possibility for 2028. But
Oh, 2028.
No, Rusty's saying that.
Rusty's saying that's what it might be.
this year.
But
I
had it for later.
I had it for perhaps later, but Rusty's saying it might be this year. And I guess I don't know why Rusty brings that opinion. It could be based on the age factor of both of them. It could be based on all that's happening. We don't know. It's still a very pretty early time. You know, these things are unpredictable.
Yes,
Yeah.
very early.
Yeah. Rusty says
Very early.
2024.
Not 2028. Rusty
Yeah.
serious. Morning, Rusty.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Harris, then that's going to be a problem. But then, sometimes people find their classrooms when it's time to bite the bullet. People find their class, huh?
Yeah.
Because now the polls aren't looking good for Biden. And there's even been more of it. there's been a lot of concern on the Democrat side that Biden is losing the black vote.
Yeah, I've heard that over and over again when I've gotten a chance to. Because I don't really watch television. Sad.
But it's still early, so let's see how.
Still very early.
Yeah, let's see what happens, because then you all know Biden didn't even win the first few primaries.
Yeah, he didn't.
Last year.
Last year he was. In fact, I had thought at one point in time when it's only after later on he started to just
I think
dominate.
it was the South Carolina one is where things kind of turned.
So it's very interesting to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
And very early still.
I didn't know you followed. I didn't know you followed the U.S. politics like that.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Future leader, he follows every politics. You
Future
never
leader?
know. He might change the trajectory, and it might not be first past the post anymore. He just might change it when he gets in. How about that? So the votes can come in on time.
Let's hope his intentions are pure.
Yes.
Are your intentions pure?
If anything as it relates to leadership, I think I go in with pure intentions.
Okay.
And
I'm looking at the facial expression, right?
Someone here says America deserves Trump, and that's what they're going to get. He has brought out the racism and white supremacy, which are still dominating feelings and widely prevalent. Some may argue that he's doing the world a favor by exposing the true America. I don't know how persons feel about that view.
Well, that's at the root of that is really at the root of a lot of the tribalistic spleen we've been seeing for the past 4 years. So yeah. Okay, caller, go right ahead. Caller, go right ahead.
Is it Rusty?
Hello?
Yeah, hi, go ahead.
Morning.
Yeah, I just want to comment verbally my post that I just put it, because I don't think y'all literally following the elections in the U.S. I follow it everywhere in the world. I'm just an election guy. I like politics. But what's going on now in the U.S. is Nikki Haley is growing in her percentage towards Trump. Christie has pulled out. Christie had
we said that, Rusty.
Some in that area.
We said that.
Say it again?
We said that this morning. Christie pulled out.
Okay, good. So she's going to get majority of his numbers moving up. The others
That's the intention.
Correct. So she's going to overtake Trump. Added to that, Trump is going to be in trouble with his cases. So she is definitely going to be the front runner.
But Rusty, before you go on to that, right? Even I think there was a conversation with Christie that someone publicized where he doubts that even with him dropping out, I think there was a private conversation that was leaked.
A hot mic.
Yes, yeah. that doubted even with him dropping out, because he dropped out, and it's saying that he did it so she could gain, but then behind the scenes it seems like publicly and privately is two different things. So behind the scenes it's being said that he doesn't even think that he will assist her. Did you hear that conversation?
Yes, I've heard it. Christie's just upset that he didn't make the numbers, and he's angry, and they were forcing him to pull out. That's basically it. I'm not taking Christie's word at all. But the key thing, guys, if Haley wins the nomination, as I'm predicting, there is no way Biden can stand a chance against her because of the age element. So in my mind, I believe he should give it to Harris. And then we'll have our first American female president. And I more believe the blacks and the others, the Hispanics and those other persons, will come out with the same numbers that came out for Biden in the previous elections. And so that's my prediction. I don't have any facts. Let me make it clear. I don't know everything. Let me make that clear. But as a politician observer, I'm seeing that happen. And I did say that to a friend of mine when they were running back in 2020. I told a friend, that girl is going to be the president of the United States. But she didn't win. She became vice president. But people don't believe me when I say things. The people who I talk to and say stuff, they could tell you, no, Rusty had said so and so in 2013, and it's happening now. So we'll see what happens.
But
All right,
Rusty,
guys?
let me ask a question.
That's
What-
why Rusty need to come back home and come around the country.
So how do you account for the narrative that she is incompetent and ineffectual and all of that? I mean, how does that square with what you're saying?
You mean with Harris?
Yes.
You know there was
Listen,
actually
let
an
me
interview
explain.
with
The
her, with
thing
persons
with vice
posing that to
presidents in the
her.
United States, they really just there as a figurehead. To be quite honest, they're not supposed to show any emotions, anything at all. They just need to do whatever the president wants them to do. So I take that with no issue at all. She can be a strong leader. She will be a strong leader, and I think she'll be much better a leader than the Republican Nikki Haley.
But Rusty, before you go on, right? The same thing that Jamsa is saying.
This is Kamala?
Yes. Those questions I could recall. She had an interview and persons posed those same questions to her, and she was able to answer it in a way. She's like, "Look at my track record. Look at how far I've gotten to, especially as a female." And she was able to say, "Is this someone who can't deliver? Is this someone who is incompetent? Why would that person be basically rewarded and now vice president of the United States if it is that the person could not have done well in previous offices?" Because there's always going to be criticism.
I like that answer.
Yeah. So basically, that is what
They
she looked.
always criticize anybody. That's a fact. But she did good when she was the governor. I think she was of California.
No, not governor. She was the AG.
Yeah, I think the AG.
Sorry. No. She was high. She had a higher position.
No,
than
district attorney. Something. Yeah,
anyway,
she wasn't governor. No, she was never governor. We never had a female governor in California.
So she was Congress. She was a Congress.
She was a senator. She was a senator.
Jamsa said we have never had in California.
Okay, that's
well, you know what I mean.
Very well. Very well.
We have our little
So I don't have a problem with that. And then Nikki was basically, she was a governor, but she also became the UN person as well. But it doesn't matter.
Appointed
it
by
doesn't
Trump.
matter where you come from. Anybody can, just like in saying, Azard could be prime minister next election. Azard don't have no government experience, but Azard could be, depending on who win and how they work it out. So I don't worry about who is what. That's how politics supposed to go. I would love that Azard become prime minister when he wins. Notice I'm saying when he wins. Not saying if, I'm saying when he wins.
So you really think? But you really think, Rusty, that given, so you don't think that mistake she made at a town hall, where she didn't, that someone asked her the reason for the civil war, and she declined to mention slavery. You don't think that could be amplified and turned into a weapon later on?
No, that's ridiculous. There are people who answer questions as a communication specialist. People answer questions based on what they are reading, the feeling they're getting from the crowd, right? And you can ask me any question, but there's some question that I won't answer to you, especially in public, because I know what you're trying to get me to go, where you're trying to get me to go. That's not a big problem. That can be wiped over easily. Listen, you see a man say, I can kill a man on 42nd Street and nobody can do nothing to me. A man said that and come prime minister. Come president. So I'm not worried about what Haley might make a mistake here and there. I'm not worried about her mistake.
Okay.
But she's not going to win if but this is where I'm going with the if Harris is allowed to run and not Biden. That's all. Biden really needs to give it up. If Trump runs, fine, he can run. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But if Trump loses the nomination, then I think Biden should give it up.
But we are yet to see. The thing is,
health reasons, I said.
we are yet to see what strategies they're gonna. I mean, it's early. It's just January. It's yet to see what the strategies they're gonna be rolling out going forward. The Democrats. But you are of the feeling that she will beat Biden if it came down to Biden, Haley.
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
Without the because of the age. Just because of the age factor. Because it is bugging the Democrats. The age right now is bugging the Democrats. And it's also bugging the Republican people. independence. All of them are worried about.
So a
about
person's
his
just
age.
with the age.
I'm also worried about his age, but he looks good. He's doing stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing
Biden
stuff.
is
But
81 years old.
If it comes down to a younger person, especially a female, Nikki, if it comes down to Nikki Haley, I think he should step out nicely, turn it over to Harris, and let the two females fight it out.
Yeah.
I believe
Yes,
that's what should happen.
that'll be epic.
Biden needs to shift to feisty mode.
Harris is 59.
Yep. Yes.
Young girl,
All right,
young
guys.
girl.
Thanks.
Okay.
for
You're
that.
welcome.
Thank you.
Caller, go ahead. You're
I'll
live
be
on
back.
Island
Thanks.
T. You're welcome, Rusty.
Yes.
Trump is
the hardest thing,
77.
I think, to try to
Garrett needs
do
that.
these days is to really dissect U.S. politics, because the dynamics have changed so much in that area. I mean, who would have thought that the Republicans would be holding up aid to Israel and the Ukraine because of what was happening at the southern border in this state? I mean, that would have been unheard of, because the Republicans normally take a very strong line on, well, anti-Russia, pro-Israel positions. But that seems to have switched, okay? And so it's very difficult, I think, to stereotype the politicians and the politics now. To think that Nikki Haley would be benefiting from Biden's loss of the black vote, I think, is wishful thinking, right? Nikki Haley seems to be one of those reactionary Republican politicians who are not going to be sympathetic to blacks in America, I don't think.
Wow.
Okay, so, and I think they realize that, if anything, I think the blacks in America are going to sit this one out. You know, they may not like Biden, and part of it, too, is what has happened with the Israel-Palestinian thing, because they see this as anti-black, being anti-black, okay, in the final analysis, right? And they, I think, are not going to take kindly to that, and that's one of the reasons why he's losing some of the not only black vote, the left-wing Democrat supporters.
Also, when you consider
are uneasy with that as well.
Also, when you consider the fact that they wholeheartedly passed anti-Asian hate crime legislation for the to support the
Asian community,
Asians who are being attacked by and a lot of black commentators were saying, well, we have been and continue to go through more than any other racial group, and where's the anti-black legislation?
Right.
And all of these and it's, I totally get it, but at the same time, and then on the other side, it's the whole situation where a lot of rich black folk actually support Trump because it comes down to a very selfish reason. They're going to pay less taxes, and that's all they care about. Ice Cube, a bunch of other people were mentioned. 50 Cent.
But you realize, of course, that underlying all of this is money in the U.S. politics. I mean, that's the thing about U.S. democracy. I mean, it's very commodity-like. You have enough money, you can buy it. And I guess that's the same with democracy everywhere, right? Those with the money are able to wield more power and influence and get their way.
But do you think at the end of the day, I mean, I really hate brinksmanship games when people, as I was saying, it's early. We all agree that it's early now, and we're saying, Biden's going to lose. But we might see a situation where when we see whatever campaign strategies the Democrats use, you might find that by October, all the black folk find their classroom. So I really hope so.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But what you have to look at too is the fact that, generally speaking, people tend to vote according to their own interests and generally their pocketbook. And if they're in a mood then where, or in a position where that pocketbook thing is better, if they think they're better off, I think the incumbent would stand more of a chance. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's very hard to predict any outcome at this particular point.
Can't you always count on? They've always said we can always count on the economic indicators, and they seem to be trending in the right direction now, aren't they? I mean, of course, they can change by November, but still.
But what you have to look at is the country's perception, people's perception. Mm-hmm. Are you better off now than before? Do you have confidence that your lot is going to improve next year? Mm-hmm. Those things are going to count more than macroeconomic numbers. Mm-hmm. You know, because the macroeconomic numbers might be good, but that's the thing in a place like America, where you have such a wide disparity in income.
Actually, now that you said that,
it's very good for the very rich, but not necessarily for everybody else.
Yeah, easy. Check this out. Now that you said that, Ira, I'm thinking about what you said earlier in the week, where you were characterizing the New Year's messages as being kind of cautious, and so in the context of what you just said, what is that? What does all of this mean, especially even on our side as well? In terms of,
you mean in relation to us?
Yeah, I mean, because you're saying, okay, I mean, I remember you said earlier in the week that
the New Year's message by the government was a bit
tentative, and there was nothing, lots of platitudes and so on, nothing really.
Lord.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we obviously, that is why we follow the U.S. politics so closely, because a lot of it impacts on us, right? And I am thinking in a straight Biden-Trump battle. To be quite honest, although it's hard to predict, I suspect there might be a backlash, and people would just vote for Trump for the hell of it. Okay? Because, you see, in terms of pure economics, they would say that Trump's tenure was really successful, you know. Okay?
What? Really?
We didn't like his style and so on, right? But in terms of, his looking after American interests and American interests and so on, I don't think you could fault him for that. And really and truly, if you look at just the raw numbers, looking at what's happening on the border, I mean, that's just not sustainable, you know. And people see that and react to it. There's a visceral reaction to that. That no, man, we can't be living in a country and have this kind of thing.
But one of the things I don't get with Americans is it's almost like they're ignorant to history. We all know what happened in World War I and World War II, where America had to wade into those wars because of the fact that, especially in the Second World War, there was a very real chance that we could have been speaking German now, and possibly Japanese, and possibly Italian, if those guys had their way, right? And Americans understood, and I've heard many presidents over the decades, over the years, speak to the fact that it's important that we understand that certain totalitarian behaviors have to be nipped in the bud if we don't want to repeat what has happened in the past. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand why the Republicans don't get that vis-a-vis Ukraine, and conflating what's going on. I understand what you're saying about
but
the border.
Ukraine was very different, though, you know. Remember,
No, but how is it
Ukraine was part of
different?
Russia.
How is it different? This guy had a speech early last year, Putin, about how the Russian Empire should expand from should go from Ireland in that would be the West. Ireland to that big island, Sakhalin Island, to the north of Japan.
No, but
this is
but
the kind of
situation as it exists now is not the same as in World War.
I understand, but
in the sense that that might have been possible in a conventional war. In a nuclear war, it just ain't possible. It's just not.
So therefore, you should just chop your hands and let the Ukrainians lose. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that you should chop your hands and let the Ukrainians lose. I'm saying that they should revert to how it was before the war started and leave it at that. Right? You can't. If you are going to be trying to solve centuries-year-old conflict, you will never ever stop. Okay? At some point, you have to say, let's just leave things as they are.
You're saying,
okay?
no, don't chop your hands, but then you're basically saying this. You're basically saying just drop your hands and leave it.
And it's the same thing. That is, well, okay, yes, that's my thinking, generally speaking, because that underpins my reaction to Guyana and Venezuela, for instance. The same thing. Right? What are y'all going to try to think? Just look at keep what exists now and work with it. You know? Not try to reverse. Even if you manage to reverse years of colonialism and injustice and so on.
Okay, you're going to let this slide.
All
this
you're
guy.
doing is creating more animosity for future wars.
But Ira, I don't want Kate to let this slide. You basically want Venezuela to turn. I mean, you said that earlier, late last year, that you basically want you.
I'm gonna get Mr. McMahon,
Yeah.
but I'm leaving him today, but I'm gonna get him.
Huh? No. I think I've been consistent. What I'm saying is leave Guyana with the territory. I always
But
said
we're
that what
not
I'm saying should
sharing
happen.
nothing. I'm going into dialect now. We're not giving them a blade of grass. Nothing for them. Nothing.
I'm not suggesting that you do that. What I'm suggesting is that you make some. Guyana keeps the land, but you allow concessions for Venezuela.
Mr. McMahon, why would you
Sorry,
let a
just
failed
like
person
you
in your
will
camp?
know
Are you going to
concessions.
run for elections with Mr. Trump?
Huh?
Are you going to run for election with Mr. Trump? With all his
Me?
bad behaviors?
Well,
So
you
why
tell
should we
me.
let somebody that has shown us that they have nasty intentions to come and help us out, to ruin, to
Because it's not about
sabotage?
the personality,
We are finally getting
Kortensia.
somewhere.
It's not about the personality.
No,
Those
we're not
gonna
sharing.
disappear in a few years, right? Look at the bigger picture.
Yes,
right?
the
You
bigger picture
want-
is let them stay over there. We don't need their help, Mr. McMahon, under no shape, form, or circumstance. Had they come
boy.
better, maybe we would have tried. But the fact that they've mismanaged what they have over there, why would you take mismanagement into your camp to be mismanaged as well?
You're not doing. That's not what you're doing. All you're doing is helping a neighbor.
No, they didn't
Helping
want to
out
help
a
us,
neighbor.
so we don't want the help. Let them stay over there. End the story.
No. You helping out a neighbor for mutual benefit. No, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the height. That is the height of compromise.
Abuse.
Huh?
The height of neighborly abuse. Because if we have a bad neighbor, per se, next door to us, all they do is take, and then they always want you to give to them. At the end of the day,
Kortensia.
they're trying to. They've been trying for years to get it.
Okay, right, for years, and that's all I'm saying.
The fact that they're
Time
trying,
for some kind of
they don't have good
settlement
intentions.
to this.
Okay,
just like the situation with Israel and the Palestinians have been going on for centuries. Time for some overall settlement of this that's going to take into account both sides. The fact that they have both sides. I mean, usually in an argument, there's no right or wrong. There are lots of different shades of gray, right? And so you have to compromise. And I'm saying that because anytime you have a solution that favors one, it's just temporary. because you could bet your life that the other side who lost is going to be resentful. And sometime in the future, when they can, they're going to turn the tables.
Yeah.
So I'm saying is compromise. That's the word, compromise for the benefit of both sides. Huh?
Mr. McMahon.
The earth don't belong to Guyana. The
No,
land don't
but
belong to in the true sense of the word. The land and its resources don't belong to just the Guyanese people. That's a political
boy.
thing.
But the border says it belongs to
It
us.
belongs to everybody, and that is why you could never ever stop something like people migrating for better. Right? You don't. If you don't have the resources in one part of the earth, you come hell or high water, you're gonna find a way to go where there is better, and that is how it should be.
Okay.
So you stay there with your political borders and your
Well, I keep in my line drawn. I keep in my line drawn. They're not getting nothing, and I don't even live there. They ain't getting no blade of grass.
You put that blade of grass there.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Maybe when I was a young one, I spread some seeds of grass, so they ain't getting none.
Okay.
I know I'm not going to convince you, but that is what I think caused so much conflict in between countries, between nations, between peoples, even peoples within the same nation. All right, this sense of entitlement of what is mine and what is mine is not yours, that kind of thing, right? And it can get out of hand. It does get out of hand, and that is how wars result. Okay, and that is what we should try to avoid.
But I'm wondering, they said 3 months. They were going to have talks again in 3 months. When are Venezuelan elections due?
I wish I could answer that question.
Okay,
Isn't that next year? It's not. Well, actually, yeah. Is it this year?
This year, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. McMahon, we're not giving them anything, so they could have the elections without Guyana in it, because we wasn't part of it before. I thank you.
yes, and that's the end of that.
Yep.
Yeah, except when some madman get up and decide, oh yeah, well, I can bomb hell out of you, just for spite.
Oh.
What you do then?
Just so get the madmen.
Well, let's hope.
Get the madman.
Because that happens. You think if a different prime minister was in Israel than Netanyahu, with all his corruption problems and so on, you think the reaction would have been the same? And that is why I'm saying you should not concentrate on the personalities, because so much of what is done depends on the personality of the particular leader in power and his ability to galvanize support for whatever mad.
But wasn't Trump a particular leader that was in power that got those people to kill that innocent officer that was just trying to defend what he said he would defend?
Who's that? Who?
Mr. Trump.
What about him?
But his personality got all those people to do the nonsense that they did on January 6th.
Yes.
And kill the innocent man. So why would we mix our personalities with
That's what I'm saying. It's that personality, and that is why we should concentrate on systems, not the personalities.
Right? Yes, but we also have to deal with the personalities when they step out of line.
Gets into power again. He
America
looks like he have a long memory, and he's very vindictive.
Very.
So I'm sorry for a lot of people.
So, and that's why I'm sorry for Guyana too. That's why we don't want any help from that man next door. Because he kind of have the bad mentality too. Mr. Maduro should just go back to driving his buses and not be a politician, because he has he has opposition locked up and all those things. That's not a nice person. No, leave my country alone.
I don't believe in demonizing people. Right?
We're not demonizing.
We're
you're
not.
Just calling a spade.
Exactly.
No. A lot of in democracies, a lot of how we vote and so on depends on our perception of whatever the candidate.
So why don't we all serve the devil then, Mr. McMahon?
If they like you,
why do we choose between good and bad then? Why?
We don't. A lot of times we don't. Right? And somebody said, I think it was Rusty who said, if they like you, they like you. It's a fact of life. People know that somebody might be bad overall for the country, but they like you, you know? And that's one of those quirks of human nature. You know, it's very frustrating when if you're somebody who thinks that, well, I'm going to methodically and rationally and logically look for the best candidate. But then one comes up who is clearly incompetent, who doesn't know what he's doing, but he has flair and some buoyance, and he's good looking, and, you know, rock star type thing, personality, and you go for it. You can't explain it, but people do it. People do it all the time.
I'm sorry,
right?
I could never do that.
No, I know it's frustrating to you. You would never do that.
Nah.
But a lot of people do that. They buy in to. It's just like fashion. Some fashions are outrageous, but it's the fashion. And so since it's the fashion, you don't want to be unfashionable.
You want to go with the flow.
You buy into it. I mean, it makes no sense. Why should we be wearing, I mean, in 90 degrees plus temperatures, jacket and tie down here?
True.
But they do it. And people expect them to do it. Right? I don't know which the chicken or the egg, which comes first. Whether they do it because they want to, or because they see it's the international standard.
I think
or they do it because people expect them to dress a particular way.
I think you just stirred up.
It makes no sense, but people do it
A
still.
big fat ant's nest.
Yes, the rusty ant's nest. Rusty, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, listen, I've listened to enough of that conversation, and it really doesn't make much sense to me at all, except for me to say, I would love to live next to Ira McMahon. I will get free water, free electricity, free cable, just by living with him, because he seemed to be willing to
give away
give
everything,
me what
right?
I want.
Exactly.
I mean, how you can expect Guyana to give up their property, their border stuff? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Rusty, he said share. He said we should share and we
really
should
can't
get them to
understand
help
why
us
you
out.
Would state that and call that rational.
So what's wrong with
Yeah, that's
sharing it?
ridiculous.
Huh? But what is wrong
That's
with
just
sharing it? Look at the
ridiculous.
difference
I'm
in
sorry.
population.
I mean, I know Mr.
Look at the
McMahon,
difference in population.
but I'm not agreeing with his presentation on this topic today. I'm not supporting anything on that topic.
Mr. McMahon, you heard what Rusty says?
Yep, and that is why the conflict will continue.
Oh Lord!
Right? Because that is exactly why it will continue unabated.
But you know, I just realized something. You know,
There's some conflict that can come to an end if there is good leadership and compromise, and rather than this belief approach. And this is one of them that lends themselves to that.
but Rusty and Kay, I just realized something.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as though Ira, it's Thursday again.
Oh boy, terrible take.
Terrible take.
Take
Thursday.
Thursdays.
Yeah.
Mr. McMahon. Terrible takes from you on Thursdays.
You always seem
Not terrible.
you always seem to come with the terrible takes on Thursdays.
Mr. McMahon, we're not sharing anything. We're not sharing anything with anybody that didn't come peaceful at first.
But Kortensia, your way clearly has not worked. Right? This belligerent, in-your-face approach has not worked.
Uh-huh.
You catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Why not try something different? Why keep on doing the same thing, expecting a different result?
Ask
Why
him.
not try something different?
Ask our neighbor why he keeps doing the same thing and the results is the same.
Ask him. Try something different.
Ask our neighbor why.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're getting some feedback, so I'm gonna end this for now. He can always call back. Okay, so guys, it's 9:32. Let's take a break, and we will come back. It's 9:33. I think AZ had to take off for court, so let's get a word.
Yeah.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The Rotary Club of St. Kitts is pleased to announce the return of its free prostate screening clinic on Saturday, 13th January. Once again, we are collaborating with Dr. Dwayne Thwaites, Urology Associates, the Largemount Olive and Avalon Medical Laboratory. All men in the Federation, age 40 and over, are encouraged to come out on Saturday, 13th January to the Largemount Olive in Taylor's Range, Brewster. Registration starts from 6 a.m. and closes at 2 p.m. Breakfast will be on sale. Ladies, encourage and bring your husband, partner, father, uncle, brother, male relatives, and friends to this free prostate screening clinic. Valid government-issued photo ID required. General wellness checks will also be provided. So all men over 40, I'll see you on Saturday, 13th January at the Largemount Olive Taylor's Range, as early detection can save lives.
9:35, we're back, Island T. Let's take this quick call, see what's bubbling. Caller, go right ahead.
Hello.
Hey.
Is this Win FM?
It is. Go right ahead.
I heard you were talking about me. This is the Donald Trump. I just want you guys to know that I'm going to be winning the election this year. And if you think we're not going to lose anything, we're not going to go back to China. Wait, it's not a laughing matter. It's not a laughing matter. I actually have somebody else on the phone. This is a conference of past presidents of the United States of America. I actually have my good friend Barry. He's on the phone, and he's going to say something. Hello?
Hello?
Donald, come on. Stop being silly. What you guys don't really know is that I'm trying to groom my dear wife, who I wouldn't be president without her, to run for the United States of America, because Joe, Papa Joe's, just gapping his way up. But Barry, stop. If you do that, then I'm not going to win. If you put Michelle to run against me, I am not going to win. That's very clear and distinct. Let Papa Joe run, because I'm going to beat him. He stole the election once. I'm not going to let him do it again. I'm not going to let him do it again. I got millions and millions of people who can't wait to see me as president of the United States of America. And so we call it on Win FM, because I know there's Americans in the wonderful state of St. Kitts and Nevis who would be happy to see the Donald back in power. Do you have any questions?
Oh, my God.
So
Do you have any questions?
None at all, Mr. Trump.
But I'm hearing you talking a lot about
actually, yeah, we have a question. When are you going to jail?
You don't want to give medicine to jail. I'm letting you know. I heard everything.
Oh, boy.
It's just oil and Vaseline and kerosene. What do you use for your skin? It's going to be okay. What do you use petrol for? It's going to be okay. There's a lot in the earth. The earth is the fullness of the Bible said it is ours. And dear baby Jesus said it all belongs to us, so it's okay. I like Ira. He's a wonderful man. He's very smart.
Oh, boy.
He's very smart.
It's pretty good.
Do you have any questions?
As Jamsa said, when you're going to jail.
When are you going to jail?
Well, jail, what's the concept of jail now? That I like the fact that they're just coming after me. They're coming after me. It's okay. The justice system is corrupt. It's fake news. It's all fake news.
Fake news indeed. Fake
They
news. Fake
never
news.
got me. January 6th, I didn't tell anybody to run and go to the storm of the Capitol. It was just a hoax.
So did you see the debate last night with the Sanctimonious and Nikki Haley?
And Sleepy Joe, what was his name? Oh, the Sanctimonious, and what's his other name? The one who just pulled out?
No, Nikki
Pat
Haley.
Christie?
No, Nikki Haley. The
Pat
other,
Christie.
yeah.
And I like that the Indian man, Ramaswamy. If he runs, I don't think he's gonna beat me, but I like who likes me. I like who likes me, and he likes me very much, and so he has my support.
I call him
Absolutely.
Ramasmarmy.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, if you do that, I'm gonna make sure you don't get back to the United States of America. Do you have a visa?
Jamsa, don't answer that question. Our lawyer has left the building. Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question, brother. Don't answer that question.
Too funny.
Donald, stop. You're being very mean. Stop. That's why you lost the election. That is why you lost. And if you continue being mean to these good people and win at them, you're going to lose again.
Indeed.
Barry, Ivanka, he's being mean to me again.
Oh, boy.
He's being mean.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
This is Pamela. I just want y'all to know, I heard you guys talking about me. I found a personality, and it is so good. I found one on Sheen, and actually, it didn't cost me very much. It actually didn't say made in China, and I think that if Papa Joe goes to sleep and doesn't wake up, I'm going to be the next president of America. Okay?
Okay.
Pretty good.
Listen.
You know who he does, right?
Yes, I do.
Pretty good.
I do.
Pretty good.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I've been waiting to call. When I heard Rusty was on the phone, right? I said, okay, I'm going to come on the call when he finishes. But I didn't know Ira had called the other line. I'm like, as soon as Ira, I was like, oh my gosh, this phone is not going to end.
Yeah, I
and
know.
he just kept saying on and on.
On
and I
and
was like,
on and on. Yeah.
guys, you almost missed this comedic break of the morning.
Oh, boy. And we needed it.
Rusty must be killing himself laughing.
Rusty is
killing himself laughing, right?
LMAO. That's really funny. Shelley Harris says very funny. Rusty Lambert is LOLing with tears.
I told you.
And Rusty,
he likes a lot of nonsense.
Rusty is loving it.
Oh my God.
Rusty say, what a show. It was wonderful.
I've done my duty, so you guys go.
Actually, speaking of which, maybe I should play. I think I'm gonna. You know how I ask you permission to play that.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead and do that when you get a chance.
Yeah.
That was just.
Let me see. Oh my God, Kay will die in here when she hears that. With you and Sugar Bowl.
Oh Lord.
She'll die.
She'll
die laughing.
2 comedians.
Oh my God.
Y'all want me to cry off the little
Let me see if I
makeup,
could find it.
All right, bye.
Okay, guys, bye.
Have
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which drive it's on. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Wait, I was to get back to the comment where someone said Mr. McMahon. Oh, someone also made a little laugh at you. I didn't know Jamsa was from California.
California.
Yeah.
No. I said we. I meant we, meaning we who observe, take in American politics.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the one where someone says Mr. McMahon is an idealist. No, I can't find it.
Is that what they're called? Is that what characterizes idealism these days? Wow.
Mr. McMahon.
Nah. Okay, I don't think I have it on. I can't remember which drive I have it on, but okay.
As Rusty say, I would like to live next to Mr. McMahon and get free water, cable, and electricity.
Caller, go right ahead. Hello, caller. Okay.
Caller, you're live on Island T.
Okay,
Oh
wait.
boy,
Let
we
me
lost
move
that
to
caller.
on to the next. Caller, go right ahead. Island T.
What's going on, morning, brother Jamster?
Hey,
Good
what's
morning to your mother creation.
Morning.
How your morning is going?
Good. Yours?
I'm thankful here down by government quarters just trying to see somebody upstairs in the government quarters because we are looking forward to establish this celebration for the 89th anniversary of the Buckles Uprising. So we are doing some field work right now to maintain our course for the educational process when it comes for the 28th of January. One thing I just like to share with the general public, good morning to your listeners very there, that the American politics is controlled by the Freemasons. So when what is putting his option up and what I was putting the option up, they must understand they're a Mason. And when you're not a Mason, you only make 50 of what you want to feel of. But when the Mason, they curtail in their secret agenda, who they're willing to put power to control their dominance in the financial world and creating chaos in the world by wars and rumors of wars. You must wake up and understand. And that is my view within the American gangster system, what they call a political spectrum going on for 2024. Biden, neither Harris, not even Donald Trump, not all them other contestants who coming up is ready to serve the people of the American studies unless they release themselves from the Freemasons. You all have a blessed day.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
Donald Trump, I like that. Not Trump, Donald Trump.
Well, I found it. There was this comedy piece that Enoite and Sugar Bowl did one time for Only Good News, doing impressions. So here we go. I'm gonna play this one. It's Sean and Tim.
Oh jeez.
I'm trying to remember which one. Which one should? Well, you figure out which one. Who did what? Here we go.
All right. So, second winner session. So, we are all going to go around and have each one of you talk about what you're most proud of. So let's start with you, Sean. So I was the Minister of Education, and I wanted to make sure that I built the Bastia High School as a minister. I was also the Minister of Youth and Sports and Culture, and I always had a good time during Carnival. Those years were one of my best years, and I'm going to be the next Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, and I also...
Almost instantly, Timothy Harris butted in.
Okay, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister. You have done a wonderful job being the Deputy Prime Minister. Your position as Deputy Prime Minister has been one of the best I have ever seen, and I appreciate you for being my Deputy Prime Minister. You have always been on the mark with everything, and mark my words, you will always have my support, especially from my position as Prime Minister.
So, Mr. Harris, what are you most proud of? I've heard lots of good things about you. I've heard about the poverty alleviation plan and how you've handled COVID well and the capital projects taking place, and not to talk about how well you've handled crime. You must be proud of your achievements.
Well, for over 25 years, we had a nation that was heading in the wrong direction. And it was on February 15, 2015, that the people of this great nation made a choice and said no to.
Just then, there was a loud bang on the door, and Denzel Douglas and Donald Trump rushing in pockets shouting, "Sabotage! Sabotage! Sabotage!"
The session leader quickly called for security, but just then Obama stood up and started glowing like there was a bright aura around him, and his voice chimed through the air saying,
"Let there be peace." I mean, look at you.
What do you think?
I think the two of them are great comedians.
Yeah, I was dying in here laughing.
But was it anointed that did both Sean and Timothy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I was listening intently to figure out who
Who
is
was
what.
who? Yeah.
I just saw something here. It says on the Facebook page. It says, "Don't know what's the topic, but are you aware of the fact that Barbados has signed an agreement to bring in GMO mosquitoes? Other islands are mentioned but not listed. We would like to know if St. Kitts and Nevis is one such countries. If not, any discussion on the implication for other Caribbean territories."
Uh-oh.
What is this?
I remember there was, I didn't know about that, but I know there was a similar program in Brazil, I think, when Zika was when Zika kind of was in the news. They released some mosquitoes that were supposed to
eat those ones.
No, they were basically like
I got goosebumps.
they were infertile and they were supposed to do something else, but then I seem to recall it said, nature always finds a way. They do stuff like that and something always goes wrong.
So we're breeding mosquitoes to do
Well, I don't know if they're doing it here, but
no, I'm just saying the world. We are breeding mosquitoes to do what?
Genetically modified mosquitoes it's probably to fight against dengue or something.
To eradicate the ones that are carrying the virus?
Yeah, I'm assuming something to do with that. Yeah. But that never usually doesn't go well. So I hope. And then these guys are, if they're doing it, they're not going to tell us. We're going to find out elsewhere. That's what always
after
happens.
the fact, because most of the time it's after the fact that we find out.
Yeah. So I really hope we're not part of that program.
Wow. Oh boy.
The disrespect is real from these politicians. Huh?
Wow.
They work for us and they act as though we're like minions and peons.
Somebody says those mosquitoes are what Bill Gates came up with to eliminate the overpopulation of the world, like he said. And then the person that sent it in said, you can quickly Google it. Yes, it has to do with dengue. So yes, it's a question.
Yeah, I assumed it was something to do with one of those mosquito-borne diseases.
Oh,
but yeah,
but dengue's been around forever.
Yeah,
we just have to keep dealing with it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I like these things.
I know, I know, I definitely don't.
Oh my gosh.
Caller, go right ahead. You're on the air. Okay. Hopefully that caller will call back. But yeah, I'm gonna have to. You're gonna send it to me. Oh, that was somebody just mentioned.
Yeah,
that in the
somebody
comments,
just
right?
mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
So the Jeanette, I'm seeing.
Hey, caller, go right ahead.
Caller, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about the feedback there.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I miss about the mosquito. Yeah, you saw the world ago, I still here, Mr. Shane. Good to be on the program again. Okay, we have listened to reasoning, all your concerning the struggle. Land is the basis of all struggle.
Mm-hmm.
You know that entity, sir?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, sir?
Yeah.
You know that, Mrs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed.
Mm-hmm.
But in spite of that, in spite of that factor, the naked truth be told, land belongs to nobody, the people belong to the land. So we going, we was listening to Mr. McMahon saying, well, we can't stop people from moving about to keep their head above water, and it's a reality. Just that, there got to be some line drawn certain way. But I tell you, the way Earth around right now, it look like what the global population be right now.
What is
Like
it? 6 billion, I think? Or is it?
No more than that.
It's probably higher.
It might be higher than that. Yeah.
Come down to 6, you mean?
No. Well, it's probably higher. 8 billion? I can't remember, but yeah.
Up there, so.
I'll do a quick Google of that, but it's important. It's important to note that they're always going on about Africa being overpopulated when Africa is one continent that is not overpopulated by any stretch.
But I don't know.
I don't know if you guys remember the so-called Prince William got in trouble last year for that. Some award ceremony they had, and he was basically saying that the animals in Africa were that humans in Africa were basically making things inconvenient for the animals and the wildlife. That's basically what he was saying. So he was basically saying the animals in Africa were more important than the humans. Yeah, he got in. You guys, yeah.
No, I don't follow them so close.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and find it over the weekend, and yeah. That was last year. Last year, yeah. He got in trouble for some comments he made at an award ceremony about basically saying that something has to be done about African overpopulation. But Africa is not overpopulated by any stretch.
We can take a couple more mil there.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
but you can tell where their mindset is at when they say things like that. And they put the animals over us actually. Because he basically pretty much said it.
James,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, darling.
No, I was just looking at the GM mosquitoes, and they said that the EPA evaluated the potential risk of releasing GM mosquitoes into communities and determined that there is no risk to people, animals, or the environment. And they said for information, see EPA's Human Health and Ecological Risk Assessment. So the mosquitoes, as you said, James, they are put out there to control the bad mosquitoes. And they said the GM mosquitoes have been successfully used in parts of Brazil, the Cayman Islands, Panama, and India to control the A. aegypti mosquitoes. Since 2019, over 1 billion mosquitoes have been released. So when GM mosquitoes stop being released into an area, the A. aegypti mosquito population will slowly return to normal levels. And GM mosquitoes will only work to reduce number of target mosquito species. Example, the A. aegypti, not other types of mosquitoes. Most communities have more than one type of mosquito, so it's only working on one particular species of mosquitoes. And that's the one that carries the disease, because it also says that the GM mosquito has a self-limiting gene and a fluorescent markers.
Okay, but I'm kind of like I don't really trust these scientists, honestly.
I
Yeah,
just
hey.
stop in today.
Huh?
May I listen to this history and hear what you just say. And may I listen, what come to mind is Tuskegee experiment.
Yes.
Remember, they tell the people them might do something, but they was doing something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
They were sending them home with syphilis while they're telling them something or the other, sending them home to them families.
Yes.
Syphilis.
It's terrible.
You have said it. So, yeah, trust them. Man, we should trust them with give thanks.
Yeah, give thanks, yeah. Let's on to the next call. Caller, go right ahead. Island T, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. How you
I'm
doing?
listening to y'all. I'm good. I'm listening to y'all talking about this mosquito thing. And you see how they make it sound like, this mosquito is only going to go eliminate a certain group of other mosquitoes. Look, you see these quack scientists who are going to eliminate man. They like experiment on a lot of nonsense. And number one, Bill Gates said the world is overpopulated and he's making some mosquito in a lab somewhere about to eliminate the overpopulation of the world.
Notice the countries. Wow. Notice the countries you chose. None of them are European countries. Notice?
Exactly.
Interesting.
All black countries they want to go in. Yeah. Because he says the world is overpopulated with black people. We need to... Don't be fooled by the nice words they put on paper, you hear?
Yep.
It says tricks behind it. Right now, right? Here in America, Bill Gates bought Bragg's vinegar. And let me tell you, people fear to go buy Bragg's vinegar now.
Oh, boy.
People are afraid to go and buy Bragg's vinegar because he buys the company.
Oh, boy. No.
You don't trust some people are just demonic. And they're just out to do a lot of evil.
Wow.
I would not trust anything that look me. People be aware. Be aware. Don't get fooled by nice words on paper. Yeah. They want to eliminate us in any way possible. They come up with all kind of things. Like those quack science. Please, people, be aware. Look out to see if they don't think it don't sign on to nonsense. Because for some reason, these people always get black leaders to sign on to the most dumbest stuff. Like money, the love of money really the root of all evil. Have a good day, people.
Yeah, have a good day too.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for your contribution.
That's the whole thing. I'm just really hoping that we didn't sign on for anything like that.
Why?
I don't really have a lot of faith in our politicians, honestly.
You see,
to do the right thing.
The mosquitoes have been successfully used in Brazil, the Cayman Islands, Panama, and India.
Yeah. Notice the
Now we
countries,
do,
right?
and now if it's true that Barbados signed on, then that's a black country again,
Mhm.
and then it's gonna come all the way up the road.
Yeah, notice
Oh,
the
boy.
countries.
Yep, as she rightfully said.
Yeah.
Majority of them are black countries.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's like we just keep voting for invertebrates who don't
boy.
stand up to. They don't stand up to the world order when it comes to keeping their people safe. It's all about money, and they dangle carrots in front of them, as in, oh well, if you don't do this, you're not gonna get aid for this, and we're not gonna do this, and
Listen to this one, though. The release of GM mosquitoes is not intended to stop an ongoing disease outbreak. Instead, GM mosquitoes are meant to help prevent disease outbreaks. Releasing GM mosquitoes over several months can reduce the number of a specific mosquito species, and we know it's the Egypti, reducing numbers of mosquitoes that can spread germs that can reduce the chance of an outbreak starting. We do know that the best way to prevent diseases is to control mosquitoes before an outbreak happen. And they said, it continues to say, GM mosquitoes and integrated mosquitoes management using GM mosquitoes may be more effective if used along with other mosquito control methods as part of an integrated mosquito management approach, including educating the community about how they can control mosquitoes in and around their homes, conducting mosquito surveillance, tracking and monitor the number of mosquitoes, types of mosquitoes in an area, removing standing water where mosquitoes lay eggs, using larvicides and insecticides to control mosquito larvae, pupae, and adult mosquitoes, and monitoring how effective mosquito programs are at reducing the number of mosquitoes. So all these nice things, but then we still don't know what these mosquitoes are
exactly.
about.
But then what else is in the mosquitoes, though? What other modifications were done to the mosquitoes?
Well, they
as
only
far as,
listed 2 modifications.
No, I mean, that's like a semi-rhetorical question,
Yeah.
meaning,
Mhm.
you remember the first thing you said was
Ooh.
Bill Gates was a
What did you say, Jamster?
What?
Jamster, oh my God. Go
What?
ahead.
No, I laughed because your phone fell. That's why I laughed.
No, instead of Gates, I heard goats. So I was like,
I said, no, Bill Gates. Yeah, no, but that was because your phone fell. So,
so you're about
I
to
was
laugh.
I
so
was
you-
about to
okay.
laugh. Yeah, so.
Oh boy. Is that a sign that I'm not supposed to say anything more about those GM
No,
mosquitoes?
not at all.
Oh,
I
boy.
mean, Bill Gates has been up to a lot of shady stuff for a long time. He bought a whole bunch of land in the U.S., farmland, and they're wondering what he's up to.
Oh boy.
I don't know what this guy.
Are y'all trying to scare me this morning?
This guy is not as bright
Because now
as
I
he
hear the
thinks he
Bragg's
is.
vinegar that I saw this morning on YouTube. This man advertising its lovely benefits. Now
Yeah, what did he put
I'm
in
gonna
that
think
now?
twice about Bragg's.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
This guy is not as bright as he thinks he is, and everyone seems to think he knows everything because he created a multi-billion-dollar company basically by ripping off Apple. But don't get me started. Anyway.
Oh boy. La la la.
You
la,
know
la,
this
la.
guy. Do you know before we sign off? This guy actually said. I remember he pompously said one time he was in an interview, a tech interview, and they asked him, and he said, "Oh, no one's ever." This was before the advent of wide-scale use of people playing videos and doing music on there. Oh, no one is ever gonna need more than 200 megs on their computers. He actually said that. And I always remember that. And
Did he have proof that?
No,
that's
he
the
just
required amount?
he just felt
Oh, that's just his control
at
mechanism.
that time. He
Okay.
thought, meaning, oh, you don't need big hard drives, because he never foresaw, the idiot never foresaw that people would actually be listening music, doing all these things on their devices, like listening music, videos, taking pictures. Oh, no one is ever going to need, but I got to find out the figure. It was around 200 megabytes, which, is not even a quarter of a gig of memory. And ever since that, when I saw that, I said, and then he's just been a know-it-all ever since, doing all sorts of things, getting up and deciding that the earth is overpopulated and just doing all these shady things that eventually we'll find out what's going on. But one of the things that's been going on is he bought all this farmland in the U.S. and everyone is trying to figure out what he's up to. Because trust me, he's up to something, and it's probably not anything good.
Maybe geo-modified corn or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Growing quick food so we can feed the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, so you had a good show?
It certainly was a good show this morning. I like the fact that we started out. We gave the gentlemen their shine. So women, love your husbands and your boyfriends as best as you can. And for those that are in, how should I say it? Committed relationships. Well, married relationships. Remember, the husband was there before the child. So compartmentalize effectively. So husband first.
Yeah.
And kiddies after.
And there are different kinds of love, so use those.
Yeah. And love the person the way they want to be loved. Don't decide that the way I'm loving you is good for you. Okay? Let's work on that.
And it's not a competition.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So let's just love each other as we should. And we love that you tune in today, and we love that you will tune in tomorrow because the week is almost done. So thank you for all your comments, for tuning in, and see you tomorrow, same place, same time. Yeah.
Ditto. I'm not saying all that again. So ditto. I'll see you tomorrow. And have a nice day.
You too.
Okay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Buildings damaged by an earthquake are dangerous. This is not the time for sightseeing.